Alright, so today we're going to have a little bit of a different format. What's up, Sim? What's up, Manix? We're going to do a new tutorial featuring a route that I just created recently. It's kind of a mix of one of the routes that people used to use before cruise boosting and sponge gliding was discovered, plus like some cruise boost stuff at the end. And I'm doing this because people lately have expressed they're discouraged by some of the tricks that are used in the current 90% route. And I feel that some of them aren't really completely necessary to get a good time in this game, or like a decent time at least. I guess now we're considering a decent time like a sub 115, so you could still easily get that with the route that I'm going to present pretty quickly because a lot of the tricks that wall people off are getting eliminated from this route. I think this route you could still get like a sub 110 probably, but it'd probably be more difficult. Not really sure. I didn't time it. I have no estimation, and plus like this is my first time doing the route myself, so we'll see how it works. Anyway, these splits that I have right now on my screen are available for download on speedrun.com. If you go on the leaderboards for this game, I'll put that in the description of this video when I upload it to YouTube. You'll be able to see in like the resources that you have the splits available, and I might actually put a layout up just because I really like this trend that I started a while back with having your segment times next to your total time. It helps people figure out where they need to improve much more easily than just like running through their splits and seeing where their time save is. So this is yeah, I like this format, so I'm gonna leave it up for download for you guys. Yes, early stream because I'm trying to get this done so I can do attempts. Alright, so this is kind of going to be a little bit freeform. I'm just going to tell you guys what to do as I run through, keep it pretty chill. Alright guys, guess we're going to start. Alright, so you should probably watch a run of this game before you attempt to learn. That's my recommendation. Because if you do, you know like pretty much all the easy stuff doesn't really require a lot of explanation. You just kind of have to follow my movement. Yeah, my controller's a little bit bugged out. Alright, I'm going to disable vibration. Alright, there we go. Don't get too caught up with like the little tedious movements that I do. They aren't really necessary to get a good time, or like a decent time really. Just kind of know the basic concepts. This trick right here, you just stand next to the taxi and let the hand take you away. So doing that activates this little invisible trigger here. Like technically the bus is here, but it isn't really. Like the trigger for the bus is locked right here. So this first trick is disabling the hand. If you get pulled out of bounds into a trigger zone where you can leave the area, like if you leave the area with the hand in their picture, then the hand is disabled. So what I just did there didn't disable the hand. We have to actually do it again. And I usually use a bubble wand to get as close to the taxi as possible to save frames. But you see like the hand's right there. So that's going to disable the hand. Also, side note, the fastest consoles to run this game on are Xbox and Xbox 360. But if you have a GameCube or PS2, you can still do the same tricks. Just loading times are going to make it a little bit slower. So try to make sure that you, maybe on your first run, just hit all these tikis. Make sure that every possible way you can get shiny objects, you do that because it's really important to make sure you have enough. That jump, some people had some trouble on it, but if you can't make that jump, there is another way of getting around here. And it'll give you more shiny objects actually if you do it. If you can't make that jump, then you can just like, see how like, I just came from this area here. You can actually go around this way instead. I mean, for the purpose of completing a run, it really doesn't matter which way you go. You can get more shiny objects here if you really think you need them, but with the optimal route of this game, you don't need to grind really. It isn't a collectathon by any means. Just like when you're first starting out this game, you might want to be careful about your shiny objects. But like at the level I'm on, for like my runs and most people who are on top level for this game, they don't have to grind at all. So you're just going to jump and get the spatula, and you'll drown. So what that just did is now we have this task unlocked because we got the spatula, so we can warp to it. So just to demonstrate, like, we just came from here, and so this is actually used throughout the run, is we can collect spatulas and abuse the warp properties so we can warp to the mission. So this is where the mission would usually start. Like, you have to cross these all these gaps up here, but we just kind of skip this whole area. All right. I'm going to leave out a lot of the tricks that I use in my own speedrun, just so I don't confuse people. But basically what you're going to do here is climb the jellyfish rock. It's pretty important that you run on this. If you can kind of see how there's an edge here, I'll try to get a better view of it, but there's like a little bit of an edge, like a point where it meets kind of like right here. You want to run along this edge and do a bubble spin into the rock. So if you go here, it's a lot harder to get it. As you see, I missed it when I went on the side like that. You want to run across this pointy edge right here. And you can just like scale up and get this sock here. I didn't really consider my sock route when I wrote this out. I only considered spatulas. So hopefully we have enough socks by the time we get to Industrial Park. If not, I'll just tell you what other socks you can get. Basically, if you replicate that angle that I just did behind the Duplicatatron, like, if you just do this kind of motion, you should be able to hit the button. See how it goes across and it hits. Yeah. So even when I'm jumping up, it still has enough range to be able to hit the button, so that should work every time as long as you get the correct angle. Alright, so actually for this route, we're just going to stop here. So when you get here, normal what you see is that, like, I would usually go down here and do a bunch of tasks, but for this tutorial, actually, yeah, we're just gonna stop here. Or actually, we can just do this. So just because the sock route's a lot different now, so I'm gonna make sure that we have enough socks. So you get these 2 socks here, and I guess just get the box, and then we can work back to Bikini Bottom. But make sure the box is open so you don't have to do that again. Alright, so now we've actually finished Jellyfish Fields. So now we're going to go to downtown Bikini Bottom, but first we have to unlock crabs. Now this is very important that you use the crabs warp wisely. So crabs is going to send you to whatever location you've technically unlocked in the game, depending on which boss you've beaten. So like warping to crabs at this point in the game will put you right here. Warping to Patrick, as you're going to see later, we're going to unlock Patrick over there. You can warp to Patrick too. But just knowing the difference between warping between Pineapple, Shady Shoals, Chum Bucket, Crabs, and Patrick, it's very important. Depending on like where you pause the game, like say you pause the game and you're in like Kelp Forest, you aren't going to want to scroll all the way up and warp to Chum Bucket. Instead, you're going to want to warp down to Crabs, probably. Right. Makes sense? Okay. Now we're going to do Squid's house. So for Squid's house, you just need to jump 10 times to get this spatula. Now, it doesn't actually count your jumps. It counts your relative height to the ground. So like if you do like a little mini jump like this, it isn't going to count it most of the time. Also, one thing to note is there are full hops and short jumps in this game. Well, short jumps and full jumps. So if you kind of brush by the button, you go lower than you would if you hold it. That's an important concept just for like movement based in this game. Also, air stalling. You can air stall with the bubble wand in case you didn't notice already. Most people who play this game know that. Like if you played it casually, you know that too. But after you do one bubble wand, your second one is just going to make you descend instead of stall. So you can only use it once before you descend. I use this a lot in my speed runs. So like if I'm at a really high point, I need to get somewhere quickly, like to get a spatula. I just hit it twice to send myself down faster. Let me just warp back here. A lot of people have trouble with Squid's house. So, one thing you do, I guess, is like jump on the nose instead of that area, and then jump up here. So again, like, usually what I do is like I just go to the side here, but a lot of, like I just missed there, like a lot of people do that. It's faster to do it that way, but if you're new, maybe just try jumping on the nose instead. There's actually another strat that I completely forgot about, is that you can get like on the window if you get on the nose. This is what Fuff does, but I completely forgot about it. I'm gonna start doing it soon, but first I have to learn it. Anyway, I don't really need to demonstrate that. If you're not like good at climbing Squid's house, you could also do that. There are a bunch of different ways you can do it. You can also do it from the doorknob. I'm trying to take a lot of time on this tutorial. Yeah, there you go. So like you can actually get on the window and scale off and slide, but that's only if you're trying to skip the ledge. Like there are a bunch of ways you can do it, but if you can't do it, that's fine. You can just do this. Odds are if you're gonna spend like 5 minutes getting Squid's house, that isn't worth it. Just do this, and then you can just jump on the balloons and get the spatula. So now that I've been playing this game for a while and I know what people are having trouble with, I'm gonna close this door. My roommate's doing something. Yeah, I know what people have trouble with now, and I see what people struggle on. So now I know what I can like add alternatives to. Now we should have 5. Okay.
Down.
Alright. Now I have to do Tiki's Go Boom. Now your first time doing this, you might not do it perfectly. Requires pretty good movement to do. But you need to get a full combo by brushing by these Tikis. So you need to quickly get up here and hit this as quickly as possible so you get a super ultra mega monster combo. As you see on the bottom of the screen, hit these buttons. But if you don't get the super ultra mega monster combo, then you have to probably do another round of this to make sure that you have 2100 by the time you go to the sea needle, because you need 2100 to unlock. Also, what just happened there, I just got a lucky sink. So the cannon actually destroyed the sink without me touching it. And it looks like because I've been standing here, the cannon's going to destroy this one too. So I'm just going to go off and get this. Now, because I did get lucky sink the first time, but then the second one got destroyed, I lost my combo, so I might not have enough shiny objects to get into the sea needle. Then again, we destroyed extra shiny objects earlier. I mean, we destroyed extra tikis earlier to demonstrate like that you can make up for missing tikis and stuff. But now we're going to warp back to Tiki's Go Boom so we can get more shiny objects. We're just going to do this again, but this time, instead of going over there, we're going to get this first to get the spatula. And we're just going to get these tikis. That's what you should have done the first round, so just apply that to the first round if that isn't what you did. Like, you didn't see it because we got a lucky tiki. We got a lucky stack with the cannon, but that's what you want to do for the first round, if you happen to get that set up. Now, we're going to collect these wheels. This is kind of a hard jump that some people have trouble with, but basically you want to just time your jumps correctly, so just pay attention to like when I jump. Just make sure you push forward instead of like, you're going to miss it if you do like a short jump like this. You have to hold down and continue holding down so you keep going, and now we're just going to scale the side of this building. It's like this area right around here, you should be able to jump on the side. Maybe get an extra tiki here or underwear if you need it.
I feel like a new sponge.
And we can actually damage ourselves on this thing to make him stop and taunt, so you can jump on him and get on here. And notice that a lot of objects are solid in this game. You can jump and abuse them. This is all just platforming. Don't get hit by the sofas and sinks. Also, stay to the right a little bit so Bubble Buddy's text box doesn't grab you, kind of like this. You want to like stay over here so he doesn't do that. Now we're just going to get this sock up here. Yeah. The cycle was off, so I wasn't able, I kind of fell. Alright. Also, don't worry about sea needle like, don't do sea needle strats that I do. Don't worry about it. I'm just going to breeze through it quickly so I can show you, just, I guess, to demonstrate that you have to do it. Don't worry about getting tikis as fast as I do. Don't worry about that yet. It is important to do tikis quickly until you get to like really high level. There are just some things that you have to keep in mind when you're doing tikis. So you'll see that for this next tiki stack that I'm going to do, or this tiki area, that I use this glitch when I get stuck on the tiki. I get infinite bungees, so you'll see that like I'll always have the option to jump. So I just got my option back. Now I'm going to do it again. Go back down. So you want to abuse that strat. If you go to the bottom of the tikis, I recommend, like, first of all, you have to get that wheel. Make sure you remember the wheel and don't get hit by this chuck. But you want to use that strat. Just go, maybe for your first run, go all the way to the bottom of the map and get stuck. Just so you get infinite jumps. But if you get hit, like, by a thunder tiki, or if you take damage, or if you go all the way to the bottom of the map, you lose that ability. So make sure you just like stay toward the middle, like the center. Don't go all the way down, or you'll lose the infinite jumps. But it really doesn't matter. Just kind of hit the tikis and don't die. If you die, you reset the entire cycle. So don't really worry about that too much. Just don't die and get the spatula. All right. This is just all platforming. Make sure you get this wheel.
Here's another one.
You can just jump up here. This jump's pretty precise. Just make sure that you do full jumps and swing. And like as you approach this swinger, just mash whatever button your console uses to take the lasso, and you should be able to get it. It's kind of precise. Just what you're looking for here is make sure you're doing full jumps, and then start doing the lasso stall and aim for the, like, this little ball you see on the top of the screen here as you get close to it. So you want to start stalling at the apex of your jump and just aim for the thing you see on the top of the screen right there. Because if you go too far left or too far right, you aren't going to get it. Now you can just glide over here and get the sock. Also, make sure you jump on the tip of the cannon here, or you aren't going to be able to quite get over without grabbing the ledge. Alright. Also, make sure that you don't switch to the bus when you're, like, as you're walking off of here, because you can soft lock yourself if you change your elevation while you're going to the bus. So make sure you're down here when you activate the bus. Yeah, what's going on, Dom? Alright. There's also another exploit that you should maybe keep in the back of your mind but not worry too much about. If you do like a little short jump and slam, you can actually activate buttons early. Like that. And it saves a little bit of time, but it isn't really worth doing. It isn't worth worrying about it when you just first start. There's an invisible wall, like, right over here. It's hard to, here, I'll demonstrate. If you don't jump in time, you'll just get blocked off. You'll just, yeah. So you have to get under the wall. Just kind of follow my movement, and you'll get the spatula. Again, with the descending trick where you stall and then you descend by hitting it twice. That's what I just did there. So now we just have to complete the rooftops as Sandy. The cycle is going to be way off because I had to explain things, but just glide into this like this. When this is in your front view, aim, and I just got cucked by that fucking thing. All right. Yeah. Anyway, basically when you're jumping here, aim for the swinger. I'm not going to get cutscene grabbed again, so I'm just going to go over here. I'm not going to get it because I already got the cutscene. Yeah, don't get hit by the chuck. I was trying to slow myself down so I could explain, but I got hit. You have to hit the chuck, by the way, to be able to get up here. If you do the cycle correctly, yeah, you should be able to get on the platform like this. Just kind of hit this thing so you can get some extra shiny objects. If you can't reach this, you can just kind of go here. We can actually jump on the tartar sauce spot and grab on here. Also, when you jump, make sure you're on this board of wood when you're running up. It's like as you're approaching, so you don't have to get the ledge grab. This part's pretty easy. You just kind of get up here and you can grab this. I recommend just going for the grab, but when you get more advanced, you can start like going for the ledge grab skip in here. But for now, just go for like the ledge grab. So you get the grab. And if you do the cycle correctly, you should be able to reach it kind of like this and go here. Also, make sure that you don't forget the spatula in the beginning, because if you do forget it, this swinger isn't going to spawn. So again, kind of like the concept we had earlier where you have to just mash the lasso. You can also activate these if you want. Just like as you're running through, until you realize what you need to cut out, just take as many tikis as you can, and then just trim the fat as you get better. Alright. Also, I don't think this is necessary for this route. This is my first time doing it, so maybe it is. There's a sock back here that you can get if you need it, just letting you know, if you really want it. Actually, you know what? We're just going to get this sock, because the lighthouse sock, some people have problems with it, so I'm just going to get this instead. So yeah, go for that. Alright. When is it optimal or suboptimal to use Sandy's Kick? Okay, Sandy's Kick is kind of like SpongeBob's Bubble Wand, where you can stall with it, and you can use it to, like... See, Sandy and Patrick are kind of... This isn't really necessary for a beginner tutorial, but Sandy and Patrick don't have landing animations, so you can kick into spatulas and fall into spatulas and not take any lag when you get them. But typically, you should use Sandy's Kick when you're just trying to stall. Or kind of... It's kind of like SpongeBob's Bubble Slam, where it increases your height slightly. Like, it makes your hitbox smaller, or your collision box smaller. So you usually, like, if you're just about to barely reach a platform, sometimes you can get on it with the kick without grabbing. But don't worry about that, it really isn't important. Just try to, for this, destroy the robots without, like, destroy the machines, Duplicatrons before robots spawn. See, like, how heavy weight, you get that. You don't want to do that. So you can just kind of wait until you get used to the cycle. Now, maybe for beginners, jump on the side here and then hit like that. Make sure you do that exact order, though, in that same direction, because you don't want to... If you break that one first, you're going to get annoying robots to spawn, and you don't want that. You just want, like, the easy ones to spawn. Yeah. Now, if you've watched any of my runs, you're going to start to see a little bit of a deviation in the route, because we're routing out Sponge Glide because people hate it. But I still have a really cool trick that I could show you. Make sure you get that wheel. Alright, there you go. So now we're going to go to Goo Lagoon. Now, we aren't going to warp to crabs, because, again, concept here. We're up here at downtown. We're going to warp to Bikini Bottom instead of warping to crabs, even though crabs put you closer. it takes more time to go down the crabs, so we're just going to go to Bikini Bottom. Alright. So now we're going to go to Patrick. So now we have this warp unlocked. See how we have Patrick? We can warp to Patrick now. Patrick is always in the same spot. So his use is pretty specific. You really only warp to him when you need to go to Poseidon or when you need to trade in socks. But for crabs, crabs moves across the game depending on where you are. So you can use them according to what you need. Also, there's a sock in Patrick's Rock. If you destroy the sofa in here, you get a sock. So if you need that as a backup sock, like if you miss one, you can always get it in there. Alright, now we're going to go to Goo Lagoon. Alright. I'm going to keep the movement here very basic just so I don't have to confuse people. This isn't really supposed to be a world record route. This is just to get people into the game. So I'm going to keep it really self-explanatory. If you're on Xbox, talk to Larry, because you'll see later when we we just talk to Larry anyway, because this route's different. Don't ignore what I said, just do what I did. Anyway, so now we're actually going to go. We're going to do this trick that used to be used back in the old days, before I was around actually. Just make sure that you stay on these little oil cans, I guess. Don't go on the death plane or you're going to get taken by the hand. It's going to re-enable. But you want to just kind of like scale across here and go under the goo. So like how it's like, yeah. So you can just walk under it. And we're just going to kind of go through the level, just under it. Just try not to get too close to the top or you'll probably drown or take hits done. I don't really know. I've never been hit by this, so I'm just kind of guessing. Just don't get hit. Just kind of like follow this movement. We're gonna go under the map all the way over to here. I got hit. Alright, so you gotta go around this thing. Oh no, I'm gonna die. Alright. I've never done this before actually, so I hope I don't die. Alright, so we get the spatula that's under the goo right here. Alright, now we're just going to abuse the warp again. We're just going to warp to the spatula that we just got. Alright. Alright, so now we have to do kids. So we're going to pop the balloon kids. This is pretty easy when you don't have to do it with cruise boosting, so we're just going to... Or, I'm going to miss it. Alright, whatever. But you can just kind of wait around for the cycle to come. I'm going to drown. Oh, no, I guess not. Alright. So now we have to do early kids. Yeah, this is what people used to do before cruise boosting was a thing. But for a while, kids weren't done with, like, I routed kids into the game, like, way after I started playing. So kids used to be in the route back before I was playing the game as just, like, without cruise boosting. But when I got really good and I got, like, a 103 with the prawn route that I made, I started testing out kids with cruise boosting on Xbox and found out that it was really fast. So don't worry about doing it with cruise boosting. It's really hard and not worth it if you're new. Oh yeah, I gotta do this right. I'm so used to cruise boost movement. Yeah, we're just gonna pop the balloons. Can I make this? Yeah, alright, cool. Alright. Alright. Now we're just gonna make our way back. I don't think I need Patrick for this. Yeah, I don't. Maybe get that box. I'm not sure if we're going to need it later. But we're just going to climb this castle and get a ledge. We should be able to get a ledge grab here, I think. I know Patrick can get it. Yeah, maybe it's a Patrick thing. I've never done this route. Hold on. I'm pretty sure Patrick can get a ledge grab there. Yeah, he can. Okay, so Patrick can get it for some reason. So now we're just going to kind of run through here.
Hey, this is mine.
Alright, there we go. So now we're ready to go to the Lagoon Caves. You should be fine with shiny objects on this route, really. Okay, so we're gonna stay as Patrick for this. You can do this strat. You can like get on the tikis, or you can just use the I drowned. Well, you can use those little floating tubes if you want, but this is faster if you just do this. Get that sock. This is a pretty precise jump. Okay, actually, yeah, I've never done that before. So, like, what you're trying to do here, you don't really have to do this, I guess, but I just go for it. You have to, like, get, like, a little bit of a... You can kind of get stuck on the wall there, apparently. Yeah, I've never actually done this before. Might not be worth doing as a beginner. Alright, never mind, it's pretty easy. So you can like kind of get stuck on the corner there. Oh, I think I waited too long. Okay, so I think the thing actually sinks into the goo. So you want to do it quickly, like kind of get stuck on the side there and get this. That was pretty sick. Yeah, you got plenty of shiny objects with this route. You should be fine. Alright, now you're just going to kind of like do some parkour here. Can I actually get up? I'm pretty sure I can. Alright, we're going to get it this time. Or not. Yeah, I'm learning too. I've never actually done this route before. I just kind of thought of it on the spot and said, oh, well, this will probably be helpful for people. But you just want to kind of like do parkour on these rocks. There you go. You should be able to get onto one of these. And here you go. Spatula.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
So if you jump up here, you kind of get like taken by crabs. And then we're gonna, for the purpose of this video, like if you're fast enough, you can get it like this, where you get it in one cycle. But see how like that time I missed it? So what you want to do is, like, if you're a beginner, you want to wait till that robot goes away. Because if you try to be fast, sometimes you'll miss it. I don't miss it in my runs, but again, like as a beginner, you don't want to deal with that. You don't want to just miss it. I'm pretty sure, yeah. Like in the old route, they used to do this damage boost here. Not there, like not like that. They used to do like a Thunder Tiki boost, but instead of doing that, I'm just gonna go back and get SpongeBob. Anyway, the purpose of doing that thing I just showed you with the 10 is a cutscene skip. So you just skip the cutscene and run through here. I don't think it's possible to get up there unless there's like a nah, you can't do that. Alright, so I guess you have to go all the way around here. It's been so long since I've actually had to do it casually like this. But yeah. So we're gonna get this checkpoint now that we're over here. And now we're gonna go do bumper boats. You can just climb on this button over here. Should be able to. I think maybe only Patrick can do it. I don't know. I've done it as Patrick. Oh, never mind, I got it. Now you can just drown yourself to get back to the checkpoint. Alright. Now we're going to do this slide skip. It's pretty easy. You just kind of jump off the slide. Not really too much to explain here. Now just do a death warp in the goo right here. You'd slam into it, you can bubble wand into it. Bubble wand is faster, but slam is easier, so maybe just do that. Now you just climb this food and drink stand to get the sock. Some people find this difficult, but I find that it's easier if you climb this with kind of the angle, the camera angle that I had this way. Like, don't have it out here, don't have it out here. You kind of have it like this. So I guess like the green flag is you're facing it, and you want to jump between the flags, like here, between the flags, not on the flag, or you'll slip down like that. So just jump between the flags, or you'll like see how like when you go on the side like that, you fall. Now like the strats that I do, now I climb like all the way up here to get a ledge grab skip. But for you, maybe you just want to go like, instead of doing that, so you don't have to climb as much, you can just go here and get a ledge grab. This one's kind of more difficult for people to learn. So I actually have an individual tutorial on this if you want to take a look at it. It's in my tutorial playlist. But you're going to see like I do like a bubble helmet here to turn myself around. I just want to explain how the trick works. So doing this doesn't actually give you more momentum. It just lets you turn around in your place like that. Because if you turn like this, you have to like, you lose ground, you change your position. So when you do this, it gives you more of a precise jump. Hold on, I have to answer somebody's question. Patrick, no, it isn't. Patrick, I think, has a higher jump than SpongeBob. I think his jump is like slightly higher for some reason, not sure why. But he can get that ledge grab on Sandcastle pretty easily, and SpongeBob can't. But that's kind of what we're trying to replicate right now, is this. Now, to do this second part, You need to understand the concept of fold jumping. It's going to take you a really long time to get this trick probably, unless you're used to playing SpongeBob games like TSSM, or if you've done 16% before. But if you slide off like that, you aren't going to get it. See? You need to jump like on the frame that you land to get this. Also, make sure that your control stick isn't pushed to the left or the right at all. You want to go straight forward and straight down to make this work. Like, you can't just like go to the side like this. It won't work. I see a lot of people do this too. Doesn't work. You need to go straight down and straight back up. Even if you do straight down here and you loop around, you're still going to hit the little ledge there. You should hear your control stick snap when you do it, kind of like this. But I'm not getting it now because like I'm up here. That's another thing too. A lot of people do it up here because they think it's higher up and it's more likely to hit, but it's actually less likely. You want to do it down here with this kind of an angle. See the bus stop in the left corner? It should kind of be like right there. Just like that. Alright. When you get the spatula, you can actually just warp out because you don't want to have to sit through that. If you leave the bungee, you have to sit through an animation, but if you skip, you don't have to do that. So yeah, now you can just warp to clean out the bumper boats and collect your spatula.
Here is your
Alright, cool.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Now, instead of warping to Bikini Bottom, you're going to warp to Patrick. There you go. See how much closer it is? Now we're going to fight Robo Sandy. Don't really worry too much about this boss. You don't have to worry about anything except for just not getting hit. But if you really want to know, if you stand in the middle, in the center, and approach, she jumps faster than she would if you don't do that strat. So that's kind of the first part. Really, I don't recommend spending time learning these strats if you're just starting. They really don't help too much if you're a beginner. Yeah, I'm just not going to explain this so nobody has a reason to confuse themselves with it. It really isn't important to learn right now. For a beginner tutorial, I'm just kind of go through it. If anybody has any questions about the route or like tricks, just ask now because I'm not going to be explaining anything through this whole boss fight.
The robot's losing its head. What a shocking takedown by Patrick. The old clothesline move. Oh, nice flying.
Okay, we actually have 14 socks.
Move by Patrick.
What's going on, Trico? Yeah, you can just skip this boss fight. If you're watching on YouTube, just skip because I'm probably not going to say anything important. I'll mention it after the boss fight if I say anything. This route's going to skip Squid Stream.
The old clothesline move. Whoa, what an opening for a guy literally filled with openings. Oh, what an uppercut. Nice move by Sponge. SpongeBob. This match is just about over.
Alright, so boss is pretty much done now. We're gonna finish it up. Okay, now we're gonna go to Sandy's Trio. Don't worry too much about the order you really do this in. Just know that it's important not to exit the level. You lose time. Just make sure you bowl that duplicator, try to make it easier for yourself, and just go ahead and destroy the robots. It really isn't all too important what order you do it in or how quickly you do it if you're a beginner. So don't worry about that. I don't want to confuse people. What's going on, NBA fan? Alright. Okay, so now we're just going to bolt this button. We're going to start this new exploit. Not new exploit. I just called it a new exploit. This exploit's really old. It's called SpongeBob storage. So in order to do this, so I just want to explain the concept now that like SpongeBob has lag when he double jumps, like when he lands like that. This is lag right here. That's lag. So when SpongeBob's in this state of lag, he has to wait to transform. But if you run, it cancels the lag. So if you get like this and then you run, you cancel the state. So you can double jump into this, land, and get the double jump lag, and use it to kind of go over here and just climb this. So when you jump, you cannot push forward, because if you push forward, then you leave the sponge ball. You need to jump and then push forward. So now I'm just kind of like jumping around. I'm gonna get in here. So you want to kind of get stuck in this corner right here, kind of like that. And then you can face this direction and push forward. So you bounce off of this thing here. And you can actually just jump up here. Now I'm gonna explain how that worked too. I'm probably gonna do it again, but I have a more in-depth tutorial on that I uploaded a while ago. But as soon as you get to the point where you can reach it, you need to hit the button that you use to cancel the sponge ball on your console. So on Xbox it's B. You hit B and then you immediately hit A. And then you hit A again so you can get a double jump. So that's how you do that. Okay. So now we're actually just going to get this underwear here. So we have 6 lives. Now we're going to go to the chum bucket. You can do a wall jump here to get the spatula. Alright. Now we're going to warp back to the chum bucket spatula that we just got right here. And we're going to go into the Krusty Krab and defeat some robots. The order of this actually kind of matters to do it effectively, because people can actually die in here. It's hard for some people. But basically just follow my order of operations. So you're going to just juke the robot here to bait his reaction and hit him. Now you're going to activate this tiki and run away from it, kind of like this. So it destroys the robots up there. I went back in that direction to show you what happens, but that's why you want to do it. Normally you'd want to jump over the cash register and do this to destroy that robot. Try to get the bowling shot to hit the Duplicatron, but you also want to hit the Thunder Tiki so it destroys the robot that kind of flies over you. Now, because I waited to demonstrate, the robot actually moved away from the Tiki, so I have to destroy it like this. Or not. Okay. Well, if you do it quickly enough, you should be able to get the robot with the Tiki. But we're going to attack him like this now. Okay, now you want to just destroy these robots without dying. Alright, now you can actually just warp back to the Bikini Bottom. Yeah, you can use the Bubble Bash to get the Chum Bucket Spatula, but it's more precise. So I really don't want to complicate things. I'd rather just show people the basic movement. Alright. Now we're going to do Dream. This is one of the hardest segments for the current route, or the route that most people use, but been made a lot easier with the new strats I'm going to show you for beginners. So you're just going to jump off here. Pay for this clam. You should have plenty of shiny objects to be able to afford it. Alright. Yeah, so don't get hit by the spikes. Alright, cool. Oh, it goes around like that? I forgot about that. Alright, never mind. Just get the spatula. Now you can warp back to the beginning of Dream. And just collect the other spatula. And we're going to come back here later to get the rest of them. This jump's kind of precise. Just sometimes people go around it. I really don't want to demonstrate what happens if you go around it because I don't feel like climbing this again. But just kind of like jump from the edge here and do 2 full jumps to get the spatula. Alright, now we're going to go do Murmler. Again, warp to Shady Shoals for this. Okay, just kind of try to bowl this stack here and hit the fountain to get the stock in one motion. Now, bowling the stack, because I've actually heard this before, people think that bowling the stack gives you the sock. It's actually hitting this little statue here that gives you the sock, so make sure you do that. Alright, so TV sock. People think it's RNG. I think it might also be RNG, but typically you have a better chance of getting it depending on how long your bubble wand is active in the TV for. So just do that. Also, the reason why I keep bowling into these areas is because the bubble bowl has a speed boosting property. So every time I boost into like a door or something, I can just get there earlier. Alright. You jump around this over here. Now this is a jump that some people have difficulty with. You just kind of have to double jump at max height. That's always key though. I keep on saying double jump at max height, but that's like really important to know how to get the greatest amount of height out of your jumps. But you want to do that so you get up here and grab the ledge. If you happen to miss it like this, you can do the backup strat and climb up here. See? And you can just grab the ledge. And you'll be fine. There you go. Make a right speed run. Do you mean am I going to do actual speed runs after this? Yeah. But that's just kind of a bubble bowl boost that I did there. Don't worry about it. Doesn't save a lot of time. Alright. This is a really easy section. Just grab this melon and walk across the platforms to hit this button. Oh yeah, if you do that, make sure you destroy this melon so you can grab it earlier. There's actually another way of doing it that I'll show you. An easier method is when you do it like this. You stand on this line, throw it, and then you grab it again. Alright, so now a lot of people will try to do the full puzzle for this, but you don't have to. Just kind of stand close to here and you should be able to get to the point where you get to this second part you can throw it and be able to make it. Just do that. Now, just grab this thing again. We're gonna do the final part here. If you get to this point, wait for the cannonball to fire so you don't like, if you don't wait for it to fire and then you throw the melon, you might have a chance of getting a cannonball hit your melon and you have to do it over again. So just wait for a cannonball to fire to throw that melon. Now just pay for this clam. Alright. This part's also easy. All you have to do is hit every tower once, and only once, not twice for any of them. So just, you can slam on this button and use the melons to hit all the other towers that you didn't hit. You don't have to do it in any order as long as you don't hit one like more than once. Just hit everything once and it'll work. It's pretty easy. Also, make sure that you're hitting these buttons that you see. You'll see it once I get to it. You need to hit all these buttons, don't forget them. There's the first one. Now, this is going to be kind of like a speed storage exploit. We're trying to jump over to that area over there. Not the... You see where the bridge is kind of held up? We're trying to hit the edge, like... See where Patrick's head is? I'm going to use that to point. Like, we're trying to go like right there, but it's a little bit lower. Basically, that bridge is supposed to come down when the boss fight is active, so you can walk to the boss fight. But we're going to use a speed exploit to get to that trigger area and get to the boss fight early. So if you get stuck on the slide like this, you start stacking momentum, and what you want to do is jump so you land on like that little glowing pole part of the slide, and you'll slide off and pull to the right and just mash the trigger to enter the area to get here.
Where are the security?
So I'm actually going to do it again. So now that you know what you're looking for. Alright, so just like get stuck here. Wait for your momentum to charge up. When Patrick starts rattling, you should have enough. Go off to the side and just pull to the right and you should get it every time. Alright, now we're going to fight Prawn. It's been a while since I've done this actually because I do prawn skip, but just kind of go to this column here and walk forward and wait for his attack to stop and just bowl him. It's pretty easy. Just do that 3 times and he's dead. But don't stand in the middle here. Some people like to stand in the middle, but when you do that you're increasing your odds of being attacked by like ×2. So just kind of stand here and hit him as early as possible so you don't take hit stun. Just stand in the middle here, it's pretty easy. Don't be afraid to do this. It's actually really free. Trust me. I know some people were afraid of doing this back in the day when they first started like relearning the game or learning it. But it's really easy strat. Also, don't get upset if you take hit stun on that last hit you're supposed to. It's possible to not take hit stun, but it's like almost frame perfect, I'm pretty sure. So don't worry about it. Now we're going to do security tunnel. Alright, so just destroy these robots so you don't have to worry about them. Now what you're trying to do is jump from the edge here without falling down, like not like this. You don't want to lose height. You jump at the edge and get a maximum height jump and like get on the side like this. See where like this flower is? Now you want to double jump and try to get stuck here to jump up. And depending on which side the turret's on, you can just use the bubble helmet to get, like if you do it too early, that's going to happen. Make sure you do it like right on time, like right here. And jump to get on top of the little turret thing and just jump up. Boost yourself up. Also, this button takes a full charge bubble bowl to hit consistently. Some people do this and they get mad. They're like, oh, why isn't it working? Well, you're supposed to do a fully charged bubble bowl to get it. What I usually do is I come up from that end and I start making my way over here, and then I just get like, I snipe it from over there, and then you just come up here and get the spatula. Security tunnel is like, it's hard at first, but once you get used to the jump timing, it's pretty easy. I'm just gonna do it one more time to show you how it should look. Yeah, this is how I do it. I wasn't supposed to get a ledge grab there. Yeah, I got a ledge grab, so it messed up my cycle. Yeah, anyway, that's kind of vaguely what you're supposed to do. Yeah, so if you get the ledge grab, you have to wait for the cycle to reset and go back in the other direction. But the key to this trick is just timing your jump once you get out of the electric stun. So you do it immediately after, so you get up. I'm really terrible at this trick today. A little bit rusty as I haven't played in like almost a week. But yeah, it's the basic idea. Everybody has trouble on this trick, so I'm trying to go more in depth with it. If I go in depth, maybe you guys will have a better chance of understanding it. But that's basically the main idea. You can bowl this guy so you have a clear shot. Yeah, just don't get hit by the ARF. Pretty easy stuff. Alright, we're going to skip rolling ballroom because it's really slow and dumb. So just make sure you bowl this button. And get this button. Also, another mistake people make, they try to bowl the button first and they get hit by this text box. Don't do that. Just walk straight here, bowl the button, and you should get dragged over here. So then you get that. Now we're going to go back to Shady Shoals. Okay. Just bowl this button. Don't worry too much about the cycle. Just know when to jump. Don't fall. As long as you don't fall, you should be fine. Sometimes you can get a ledge grab on Shady Shoals if you aren't careful or if you don't make the right cycle. But if you don't think you're going to be able to get it, just jump on this block. It's pretty easy. If you jump like way over here, you can actually get a taxi animation skip. And there you go. Not really important though. It's kind of like an extra trick you can do if you need it to save time. But again, like if you're going for taxi animation skips, odds are you shouldn't be doing a beginner route. Not really necessary. Alright. Sand Mountain's a pretty easy section. I've seen a lot of people get mixed up on Sand Mountain with shiny objects. Just make sure that you hit the exact tikis that I hit and you should be fine. Because people have like a huge deficit of shiny objects in the late game because they don't do Sand Mountain correctly. Just make sure that you're hitting the right tikis in the right order to get the right combos. Also, I bubble bowled onto the slide to give myself extra acceleration. Just jump out the side here. Be careful. Yeah, you're doing that to get the sock, but be careful on GameCube and I'm pretty sure it's only GameCube where that chuck has really good AI. So you have to kind of juke out that chuck so you don't get hit by the missile. If you're afraid of getting hit, you can just go around the intended way. But on GameCube, just watch out because that chuck has like really good AI. To hit those tikis, you actually need to stop touching don't touch your control stick when you go through those tikis, otherwise they're going to disappear and you'll get hit by the thunders. I did that bubble bowl in case you didn't see. I did that so I could hit a button. You need to hit both buttons to pass this level. Alright. rest of Sand Mountain's pretty easy. I actually have 20 socks, but I'm still going to get this one to demonstrate that it's here. You only need 20 socks before you go into Industrial Park to get to the boss. You don't have to do the ledge grab skip there. You can just do this instead. You can just jump up and grab like this. But anyway, you want to do the same thing here with the lassos. Just mash it so you get it and get the spatula over here. Now just be careful. If you jump too high to get the spatula in here, you're going to get the plankton text box, and you don't want that, or you have to restart this level. Like, you have to reload the level to get the spatula. So just, if you really, I'd say just like lasso this chuck to make sure he doesn't hit you. And then just jump down to get the spatula. Just make sure you get it. Alright, now we're going to go to Patrick. And we're going to trade in some socks to go to the Industrial Park. Also, remember, there's a sock inside of Patrick's rock in case you forget a sock. I'm going to demonstrate the sock quickly. You don't have to do this unless you need an extra sock. You just hit the couch and you get the sock like that. But I'm not going to get it just so the sock count stays correct. And we're going to work the Shady Shoals now. We're going to go do Industrial Park. And again, guys, these splits are available on speedrun.com resources for this game. I'll leave all the resources and stuff in the description for you. You can download Live Split, the program that I use to split for this game, and time it. I'll probably put my layout up there eventually. But all you really need is the splits for it, that's all. All I have to do here, again, like, don't worry about the optimal strats that I do. All I have to do is just not get hit. Don't get hit, hit him, and you should be fine. Don't drown. Yeah, that's all I need to know. I like to stand on this platform over here because I find it, it's less easier. It's like it isn't as easy for him to hit you if you're standing on there. Sorry, I'm kind of tired. It's a long night. Yeah, just kind of just chill out here. Don't get hit. I emphasize don't get hit because you'll lose time off of it. It's really annoying when you get hit. This boss is really easy if you just don't get hit. Alright. Now for this next part, see how when I lasso like that, the boxes fall? That's what you want to do. Like, just kind of do the same thing where you just chill out here and don't get hit. Now, you need these boxes for this part of the run. Because when he pulls the goo down, also take hit stun here, so his vomit cycle ends early, you save time. Yeah. But see how the goo falls? You have to still hit him even though the goo is there. So that's why you need to do the lassos to spawn the boxes. Do not go for a hit on him if there's no box near him because you'll probably drown. Just if that happens like that, see, just like keep lassoing until you get boxes to help you over.
One more douse with that stuff, and SpongeBob will be back in the ring. Oh, that's gotta sting. Do-si-do, and around you go.
Yeah, just like chill out here. Start getting the boxes back and give him a nice kick in the back.
That's the ticket. does it. SpongeBob is back in the fight. Oh, that's
Now,
gonna
this is
sting.
not really necessary at your level if you're just starting to learn this game, but there is an AI manipulation you can do to make sure you land at the spawn platform every time. But don't worry about it. Just kind of like, just don't die. That's all you have to worry about here, is just don't die. That's it. I have a separate tutorial for the bosses for AI manipulation if you want to take a look. They're in my tutorial playlist, but if you're a beginner, I don't want to confuse you with this stuff. Just don't worry about it. Just get a run of the game and you'll be fine. As long as you don't drown and you don't get hit, you'll be fine. Only get hit where you're supposed to get hit.
It looks like SpongeBob has an opportunity here. Do-si-do and around you go.
Boy, rock bottom's coming up.
The robot better check.
Alright, so rock bottom is one of the hardest segments in this game, so I'm going to give you guys some really basic strats. But first, I have to teach you guys a little strat called cruise boosting. And you guys are going to hate me for this. It's actually one of the harder exploits that I didn't remove from the game, but it's a lot of fun, so I want you guys to learn it if you're just starting. So I'm going to explain how cruise boosting works now. Deja vu, man. I was just explaining how to do this like a few months ago. Maybe like 4 months ago, back when I did this tutorial for the first time. But anyway, so cruise boosting is a one-frame exploit that is used to stack your momentum onto SpongeBob's running speed. So basically, what you're trying to do is hit the bubble bowl and the cruise bubble on the same frame. So that's just hitting, it should sound something like this with the controller. So the first, I want to do this step by step just so you don't get confused. So the first step is making sure that you run into this candy machine. I'm just going to tell you to do it exactly the way I do it so there's no confusion. When you run into this candy machine, it should look flat, but as you push forward and only forward, you should get a little bit of a slide to the left. See how I'm not moving left like this, but I'm just pushing forward and I'm sliding to the left. So that's step one. Step two, you need to hit the bubble bowl and cruise bubble on the same frame. That's step one. That means step two. So you'll see that now you hear the spinning. You won't hear this on PS2 for some reason. You can only hear it on GameCube and Xbox versions. But see how I have this forward momentum now? I'm being pushed. That's the basic cruise boost, and now we're going to get a fast cruise boost. So that's step two. So step one, step two. Just practice that until you get this down. If you step away, you should be pushed forward if you get it. Also, when you get that state, you can bubble bowl to remove it. That's step one and step two. Step three, so you're going to do that and just pull forward. I mean, to the right. My bad. I didn't mean to say forward. Ignore that. So step one, push forward. Make sure the box it looks flat. The box or wall, whatever you're doing it on, is flat. Step two, do the one frame input where you do both things on the same frame. And step three, you're going to pull to the right. That's step three. Also, if you realize that you missed the first input, you can actually, I'll do an example. So like, if you missed the first input like that, see how he isn't sliding? That means that you missed it. That time I got it, because I was sliding. If you slide, it means that you got it. That means you got step two. But that's very important, because if you miss step two, and then you try to do step three, this is going to happen. Like, you don't want that. Instead of seeing this, you want to see this. See how he's facing into the box and he's still moving to the side? That's because you need to be facing the actual wall to make this trick work. I'm just going to reload the level because too much noise. So we went through the first three steps, and now step four is kind of like step two. but instead of pushing forward when you do it, you're going to be pulling to the side. So here's step 1, step 2, and now for step 4, I just held this direction and I did step 2 again. I did the same inputs, but instead of pushing forward, I pulled to the right. Oh boy. Okay, so now you see that my speed's really fast. So this is a fast cruise boost, but since the regular cruise boost isn't really useful in the run, we just kind of refer to this as cruise boost. So fast cruise boost is used to clear gaps in this game, and just basically for fast movement. I mean, it's a speed run, you're trying to go fast. So let's review again. Step 1, walk into the box. Step 2, cruise bubble and bubble ball on the same frame. Step 3, hold to the right. Step 4. Okay, well, you can't just do the steps like, you can't take your time really. It's like all one motion. So there you go. Now, here's if you do step 1 and step 2 correctly, but you miss it like that, or you miss it like this. If you don't slide to the right on this part, it means that you don't have it. All those times I did it, I didn't get step 4. To make sure you get step 4, say you miss it, you can just hold to the right and try your inputs again. You don't have to walk away from the wall to reset it. See how you miss it like that? That's missing step 2. You try again. So I'm going to purposely miss step 4 to show you guys how you can recover it. So you can do this step. Say you miss it again. And now that time I got it on the same frame. And you'll see that I have it now. Now to test if your cruise boost is fast enough, if you try to move backward with a fast cruise boost, you shouldn't be able to move backward. This is my standing still position. So the controls, again, we're gonna review this, is that you need to hit the bubble bolt and the cruise bubble on the same frame to make this work. Alright? Good. That's very key. Make sure that you just practice hitting them at the same exact time. And this game runs in 60 FPS, so it's a much more precise one frame trick than it would be in a game that runs in like 20 or 30 or whatnot. So now we have a fast cruise boost, and I'm going to go over the movement for fast cruise boosting. So unlike SpongeBob's walking state, where you stand still, he just stands still, you push forward, he has his walking speed and whatnot. Pretty simple. Now for cruise boost control, when you're standing still, SpongeBob does his walking speed. When you pull back, this takes a lot of control to do, by the way, standing in the same spot with the cruise boost. That's his standing thing. Instead of just leaving the control stick in neutral position, you have to pull back to make him stand. And now when you push forward, you have his sprinting speed that you get from the cruise boost. Now there are some other things that you can do with cruise boosting to make this. This is why this game is so great. The movement is so fluent when you have cruise boosting. You just keep getting pushed forward like this. It's a very unique movement system. So what you can also do with cruise boosting is, first off, you climb these things. You can slam to get extra distance. So you'll see, like, if I do this here. Okay, well, you can climb this rock, for example. See how I slammed and I got more distance off of that? Also, you can use the bubble wand to stall yourself to get on top of this tiki thing, and you can slam here again. See? Also, another thing you can do is use the bubble helmet to get like a super jump. So kind of like this, right? So that's just the basic cruise boost movement. Like, all the moves work with each other with the cruise boost. It's a very, very swift movement. I don't have a hand cam yet, so I can't do that. But I'll be glad to show you guys some other time. Make sure you collect the artwork here. It's important. You need to trade them in later for a spatula, but now that we're done explaining cruise boost, we can go on to hit this button. This activates the timer abuse to get the spatula, because we haven't actually touched the slide. So you're going to want to get another cruise boost. If you can't get a cruise boost off of like this area here, this is the area that I personally use. Maybe try to get it off of here if you want. You can do it on another side of the rock, but basically just find a place to get a cruise boost because you need it. Make sure you talk to Bubble Buddy here so you get the checkpoint, or the warp right here. you need to go here after. So jump off to the side here. Maybe slam if you want to make sure that you actually make it. Yeah, I'm just trying to be really... I try to make the movement very simple for you guys. There's a much swifter way of doing that, but just for the sake of the tutorial, I'm just going to say go on the slide and jump over here. And then just get the spatula. Alright, now you just warp back to the Bubble Buddy warp that we did before. And you're going to try to get a cruise boost off of this wall here. Okay, use the bubble helmet. This is all cruise boost movement. You just have to practice it. Follow my movement, really. That's really all it takes. Turn your camera this way so when you jump, you have less of a chance of getting camera locks because you can die off of that. Just don't worry about it. Just get the spatula, really. Jump across here and slam. Pretty easy stuff. Jump up here to get the sock. Now this part's a little bit more complicated. That you need to... First off, these tikis here, if you move to them, they're going to disappear. So instead of running at them, you're going to let yourself, again with the cruise boost movement, the game doesn't detect SpongeBob as moving if he's in this state. He's just being pushed forward. See how like I can do this and I just go right by them? Right. Also, what I recommend doing here is stopping here and hitting this chuck so you don't have to deal with them, and then you can get another cruise boost off of this box. But you want to line yourself up so you're like this. Use the bubble helmet and time it correctly. So I usually do it when I get like on this stack of dirt here, and then you can jump after. See how I did that? You want to jump after you hit the ground, but you want to move after you jump. So like, let me show you what happens if you move before you jump. See? They shrink. You want to jump and then push forward. What's going on, Scuba Steve? Oh man, I'm sorry about that. That sucks. Yeah. See how like you need to have it lined up so SpongeBob is facing the top stack. So it's a lot harder if you do it that way. Just come around this way really to get yourself a better lineup. And just switch to Sandy. Alright. This next part is pretty simple. We're just going to abuse Sandy's ledge grab to clip through the museum. So first we're just going to climb like this. Oh, alright, well, activate this tiki stack, and we're just going to wait here for this tire here. As soon as it crosses through the wall, we're going to jump and go for it. So, crosses through right now, we're going to jump. Try to grab this area here. And as you see, we're through. We're just going to navigate through the museum now. Also, go through this part here to make sure that you get checkpointed in case you fall off or die. Now you can just wait for a cycle to come through to get yourself through the museum. If you stand like right here, you should be able to get a ledge grab to get through. Grab this sock. Kick this portrait from the side here so you don't get the... If you get too close, this happens. You get a cutscene animation and you don't want to see that, so just avoid that and you can jump down and get the spatula. Also, if you happen to fall on this section before you get to like that ledge up there, don't panic. You can just die here, like in this little bed of lasers, and you'll respawn up there where you checkpointed yourself. Now just warp to this second spatula in the list, and we'll finish rock bottom. We're just going to abuse more spatula warps now. Now we're going to warp to the Trench of Advanced Darkness. Okay. So this is pretty easy. Just use the cruise bubble. You're going to want to hit one of these Thunder Tikis. And jump on this thing here. And you'll get on top of this ledge. It is possible that you get a ledge grab from this. If you get a ledge grab, that's fine. Doesn't really matter. But you want to get a cruise boost off of this rock here. So again, walk forward, so even though it looks flat, you're still getting pushed to the left. Do step 2, 1 frame input, hold to the right, and do step 4. And now you have a cruise boost. Now you can just skip over this part. Just like slam. Actually, what you want to do instead, yeah, just do that for now. That's perfectly fine. That works. Just slam over and get up here. So we can get to Sandy. And now we're going to do lasers as Sandy. So if you guys haven't seen the if you haven't played this game casually, you probably wouldn't know what I'm talking about. Oh, please. But all you're going to do, yeah, if you haven't played this game before, you're probably going to be a little bit confused unless I explain it. But if you have played it, you recognize this before. All you have to do is just hit these buttons to activate the lasers. Pretty easy stuff. That's really all this is. We're just activating lasers, just hitting buttons. Alright. Now that we've activated the lasers, we're going to watch this cutscene. And then we're just going to warp back to Plankton to get our reward. Alright, lasers are fun and good for you. Just go over there and grab this. Alright. Now that we have that spatula, we're just going to go back here. This is really easy. It's the game, see, like in the casual game, they want you to hit a button to spawn a swinger here, but you can just jump up on this rock and just glide over to the spatula. Really easy. And now we can just jump down here and get this sock, and we can move on with our lives. Go back to Mrs. Puff, and we can get the artwork instead. I mean, we can get the artwork in exchange for a golden spatula. Trade it in. Get a golden spatula in exchange for the artwork is what I meant to say. Alright. So tired, man. Alright, so we're going to go back to Goo Lagoon now. This segment is really easy. It's very short because of this route that I'm using for you guys. So, all we have to do is run over here. Now that we destroy the robot, we just warp back to connect the towers and talk to Larry. Get the spatula. Now, if you're on PlayStation 2 or GameCube, it's actually faster to walk from that position back to Larry. But if you're on Xbox, the loads are so fast you can just warp to the towers here. Yo, what's going on, Miles? Alright, now we're going to go to downtown Bikini Bottom. Easiest segment in the game. Yo, what's going on, Jared? Alright, guys. What I have to do is, now, a mistake that people often make here is, like, I've seen some people do this before. They try to, like, hit the side here, and you're going to miss it if you do that. You're supposed to go around it and detonate it by using the cruise bubble trigger to detonate it again. Some people don't know that. You can actually detonate the cruise bubble in its place. You don't have to actually hit a wall to end it. But anyway, this is pretty easy. All you do is just jump on this platform and let it bring you over to the spatula. Alright. Now we're going to go back to jellyfish fields. Okay. So you can choose to do it here. You can do it on this box if you want, or like on the side. I used to prefer doing it on the side like this, but what people mostly do now is they cruise boost off of this wall. So again, step 1, push forward so you have a slight momentum to the left. Step 2, 1 frame input. Step 3, hold to the right. Step 4, 1 frame input again. So step 1, 2, 3, and 4. See, I missed it that time, how he didn't move. If he stands in his place when you do when you do step 4, if he stands in his place, it means you didn't get it. So you can just keep holding to the right and do it again until just keep doing it until he gets the slide, and you should be able to do it. Now sometimes if you do too many attempts, you're gonna fall off the wall. And you just gotta get back on and do it again. And remember, you bubble bowl to remove the state. So let's try it again. See. Now, common misconception. If you do 3 bursts, it doesn't actually make it faster. I'm only doing the 3rd one to correct for my mistake on the 2nd one. So you can jump in the box here. Make sure you go to the side here and jump around this so you don't activate a cutscene. I'll show you what happens if you activate it. So this is what you don't want to do. Okay, so if you try to go straight to the platform, you're going to get that. And you don't want that, so you're just going to go around it. I recommend you practice cruise boosting just for a few hours before you do your first run. Just make sure you learn and understand the trick. It's very important to do that. It's going to take you a while to get consistent with it. Just don't give up. As long as you don't give up, you'll get it. And the game's a lot of fun when you can do it. So just make sure you do that. Also, I have individualized tutorials for cruise boosting that you can take a look at. They're in the tutorial playlist. But we're going to switch back to SpongeBob now and get a cruise boost off of this little ledge here. So again, make sure that you're pushed to the left when you push forward. Push forward, but you should be sliding to the left, and repeat the steps. Now, as you get better at cruise boosting, you should notice when you don't have a slide. Basically, for any of the inputs, if you don't get a slide, you have to redo the input. So for the first input, if you don't see a slide, keep pushing forward and do the inputs again. And then once you see that slide, hold to the right and do the inputs again. But if you don't notice a slide on step 4, then just keep holding to the right and keep trying to get it on the same frame. Now for this part, you can just get rid of your cruise boost here and grab this ledge here. You should clip through the slide. You can rewatch that if you want another demonstration. You can cruise boost here if you want, but we're only using it to get up to this ledge that you're going to see over here. You can just pull it off here and hit this button. Get the spatula. Yeah, it's faster on Xbox because of loading times. You can still do the same tricks and have the same fun that I'm having right now on any console. Okay. So we're just going to get another cruise boost down here. So now you can just jump on this fountain here and skip this part. So now we're going to do Drain the Lake. Don't worry too much about the RNG theory here. It isn't important. Even on top level, you can use like a maximum of 4 seconds to RNG, and that 4 seconds is not substantial for a new player in this game. All you have to do here is just slam to stun the robots and throw them at the fountains. Really easy. Don't worry about where they spawn. That isn't important for your skill level. Maybe it will be eventually if you get really good, but there's no point in worrying about that now. I don't want to confuse you. slowest is PS2. GameCube's in the middle. Alright. Now, speaking of loading times, after you get the spatula, it's actually faster to walk back to the bus stop. But on Xbox, we can actually just warp to drain the lake, because the loads are really fast on Xbox. Also, if you're on GameCube, make sure that when you come back this way, you don't try to skip Mrs. Puff, because if you switch characters, you're going to get soft locked, because when the character comes back, it's like when you come back to SpongeBob, you activate the text box for Mrs. Puff and you get soft locked. So if you're on GameCube or PS2 and you aren't doing the loading skip, make sure you talk to Mrs. Puff after you do drain the lake, otherwise you're going to get soft locked. So now we're going to set ourselves up for another cruise boost here. Just follow my movement. It's pretty simple. Yeah, but dude, just because you have PS2 doesn't mean you can't run the game, though. Like, think of it this way. Are you going to get a top 10 time your first run anyway? Like, no, you aren't. Don't worry about it, man. Just have fun. Enjoy the game. If you really want to get super competitive someday, maybe just get a new console. But for now, it's like you just kind of want to learn the game, you know? That's the goal. Make sure you get rid of your cruise boost here, because the trick that I usually do with the camera angle over here is kind of hard and it's risky, so just get rid of your cruise boost. And don't get hit by the tartar sauce spots. Alright, now we're going to fight the hardest boss in the game. Nah, just kidding. This boss is really easy now that we have the cruise bubble, so just... all you do is just hit him with this cruise bubble and that's really it. Now take this route here, go under this cave, and we can get a sock this way. There's a faster way of doing it, but it's kind of tricky for some people, and I've seen people lose runs to it, or like lose time to it, so just don't worry about it, just go around and get it. There are plenty of other sock strats that you can learn to substitute for that if you want to eventually. But now we're going to warp back to the first part of the level and get a spatula from Squidward. Alright. Yeah, PS2 has a really good controller for learning this game. Arguably the best. Xbox has arguably the worst. 360 is a really good controller though. 360 is probably the best controller to use for this game. PS2 and 360 are both really good. Now you're going to warp to the Chum Bucket, and we're going to do Kelp Forest. Kelp Forest is really easy. It's one of the easiest segments in the game. It's very optimized too. So we're going to get another cruise boost out of this box, and I'm going to review again, just so you guys, I keep beating it into your heads how to do it, because some people will get really confused when they try to do it. They don't do it correctly. Again, make sure it looks flat, but when you walk forward, you slide slightly to the left. Do bubble bowl and cruise boost on this cruise bubble on the same frame. Hold right. Again, like if you mess up like that, that's fine. You can just get it back again. But after the first input goes through for the one frame, you hold to the right. Also, I should mention that when you're holding to the right, you can't be holding like too far back on the control stick. I mean, like do not quite northeast, but more northeast than just east for your control stick direction, if you understand what I'm saying. And you can play around with it to get it for yourself, but that's essentially it. That's cruise boosting. Now just kind of go up on this platform, jump on the leaf, and we're going to skip the entire level just by doing that. Just mash A here to finish his text box. Now, people actually have trouble here too, and there are multiple ways you can do it. One way of doing it is jumping under the map here, under the little kelp slide to get that, and you activate the trigger for the timer. I'll show you another way of doing it. Alright, so this is another way of doing it. This is my preferred way. If you see where this little nail is on the staircase, if you jump to where this is and push forward, you kind of get blocked by the slide. Now what you're aiming for is that little corner on the slide over here that I'm facing. You're trying to go over that corner without touching the slide. Kind of like that. Then you just come back. You should be able to activate the trigger. So just do that. There you go. And now that you have the timer going, you can jump in the box. In case you didn't see, I activated a trigger at the bottom of the slide that caused the time challenge to end. Now we're just going to go to the kelp caves and get this spatula that's right here. Warp to through the kelp cave spatula right here.
Hey kid.
Hey kid. Alright. There's actually a sock up there if you want to get it. You don't need it unless you should have 9 socks at this point. If you have 8 socks or fewer, you can just jump up here to get this sock. But I don't need it. So you can get that if you want, if you really need it. Alright. Now use the cruise bubble over here and hit this button down in the swamp. Alright. Then you just grab the spatula. And then you can warp to Patrick from here. I mean, not warp to Patrick. I mean, warp to Tiki Roundup right here. And you should turn into Patrick when you arrive. There's actually a text box skip there, but don't worry about it. It really isn't important. At least not for beginners. Alright. Now, here we are. Now we're going to do SpongeBob's Dream 2. We're going to clean up the segments that for things that we didn't do earlier. This part's pretty simple. All you do is kill this jellyfish, don't get hit by it, cruise boost, land on the side of the box, and boost yourself up here. So let me go through that movement again in case you can see because of the bubbles. Just jump up. Oh, you don't want to land in the box though. Jump up here. And slam. Now, just jump on this wheel thing and land over here. You can use a slam to get here and get the spatula. Now we go to Patrick's Rock. And we're finished with SpongeBob's Dream 2. Pretty simple. Now we're going to warp to Mr. Krabs. And because we have 3,000 shiny objects, we're actually going to get a crab spatula. If you don't have enough shiny objects, well, you really should, because there are so many in this route that you really have no excuse not to have it. But if you don't, you can just bowl this stack over here. Or you can go back to downtown, Tiki's Go Boom, and do some grinding. You can also get this stack. But anyway, you're just going to go behind the Krusty Krab now. Get this sock. Okay, now. Dutchman is considered to be one of the hardest levels in the game. It has a very high skill cap. So we're just going to kind of run through it this way just for the sake of keeping it simple. Make sure you go around this area, because if you see like what I just did there, you can activate a cutscene if you aren't careful. So if you go around, jump off this way and get here. Don't let Chuck hit you, just wait for him to throw it. Now we can do some wall jumps. Also, don't worry about shiny objects now. Not important because we already got the crab spatula. There's nothing else to buy in the game. Alright, I've never actually done this. I actually haven't done it since I was like a kid, so there we go. That's how you're supposed to do the wall jumps apparently. So you can get this checkpoint over here. And hit that goo tanker. Alright. Now that we've done that, get a cruise boost off of this gravestone here. Tombstone boost. Don't get hit by Chuck. You can even hit him if you want, but what we typically do here is now angle your camera so you don't drown in the goo. You want to be angled this way, very important. So when you get the spatula, you swing around. They shouldn't have gone that way. He should have turned the opposite direction, but again, it serves purpose of showing that you just need to turn the camera in this direction and you won't die. Now, just climb this, land on this trampoline, and angle it so you land on this part up here. Now, I'd say for the sake of just being careful, we can do it this way. So you're just gonna kind of jump over here and get on this tombstone. Just a little bit of platforming. Don't get hit by the oil. Jump on this rock and skip this whole area. Alright. Now you just kind of do the same thing that we did in Jellyfish Fields originally, where you jump and get the spatula and the bungee. Now if you happen to miss it, don't reload the level, it's fine. Just use the bubble helmet to get it. You should be able to if you miss it. Now we're going to warp to Shipwreck Bungee. Okay. A lot of people don't know how to do this. Hit B when you get the prompt to pay the clam. Do exactly as I do for these wall jumps. So as you just saw, you're supposed to jump in this corner up here and stay as high as you can and do 3 bounces to get this. Actually, I'm not going to go that way because it's risky for new players. Just jump around this way. Don't worry about making the early cycle. And turn your camera this way because it's easier to see how to do these wall jumps. Hit the first platform. The first platform you hit should be the little plank that comes out. Don't jump on the bar right here. Don't jump here because if you do that, it's a lot harder to really gauge, like, see how you can kind of get stuck like that. Like, don't do that. I mean, I'm missing purposely for the sake of showing you not to do it. So just do that. When you do these wall jumps, don't pull your control stick in any direction once you hit the first one. Like, as soon as you touch that first platform, all you have to do is time your inputs for A. That's it. It's really easy. Just hit A. All I'm doing is hitting A. I'm not touching any other button or control. I'm just hitting A. And now you should be good to get the spatula and move on to cannons. I just realized I left Dutchman skipping the route. I should have probably routed that out. Now you want to get a cruise boost on this little shipboard thing here. Wait for Chuck to fire at you. Don't get hit by that. Now we're just going to do cannons. I actually missed. Okay. Just kind of follow my movement. Now you can actually, I kind of hesitated there because I wanted to show you something else. Is that, okay, yeah, I was debating over whether I wanted to do this method or not, but alright, I guess I'll just show you. So this is the SpongeBob method, but, so you hit that button, right, and you come up here, and then you, okay, actually, I think I need to restart the level. Yeah, alright, so, yeah, I was like jumping on the platforms, I was like debating on turning back, But I think I'm just going to show you the sandy method. Yeah. It's a really weird spot. If you lose your cruise boost like that, you can just kind of go like this. Get it off the side here. But anyway, hit this button, switch to Sandy. Yeah, alright, cool. So you're gonna switch to Sandy. This is what I was thinking about. So like, I fell because I was thinking about like, I think I meant to switch to Sandy here and show you how to do it as Sandy. But I just fell again. This is terrible. I'm really bad at doing the game casually. Alright, let's try this again. But you absolutely need a cruise boost. I mean, like, you can even do it like this. I'm just trying to make this as simple as possible. So I keep restarting. Hit this guy. And you can actually hit this cannon here. Okay. Then you're gonna get cruise boost over here. It doesn't even have to really be fast. You just need to be able to get up here with it. Now you can switch to Sandy. Okay, there you go. Now we're gonna do the method that I wanted to show you guys. Alright. Okay. Now we go back to SpongeBob, because we need him to activate the cannons. Yeah, you need to activate the cannons so you unlock this level. It's kind of a glitch where it lets you go to defeat the Flying Dutchman even though you haven't unlocked the boss yet by destroying the robot cannons. But I don't know, we take those. Just do it. Now you just jump down here to get the spatula on top of the ship. Alright. Now you just go over to defeat the Flying Dutchman. This is probably the hardest exploit in this route, I'd say. But basically all you gotta do, might as well learn it now, you know? You have to get a really fast cruise boost to be able to do this, by the way. It can't be a weak one. When you pull back, you cannot move backward. That's how you know it's fast. So you're gonna go around this way. Just kind of follow my movement, use a bubble helmet, slide off there. Now, the thing is with that, if you do this, you'll notice that like there's like an invisible kind of floor here. It isn't really an invisible floor, but like we're exploiting the fact that when SpongeBob, imagine there's an invisible floor, because when SpongeBob slides off the side like that, it takes him some frames to update his position to realize that he's falling. So you can just slide off and use the boost in midair. Now we're gonna climb up here. How I do this, I aim for that little wood ship that I'm facing right there, and I just slam like that. But other people like Fuff, I'm pretty sure Fuff does it like this. Like he lands in the middle here and does like a little short hop and does that. So there are other ways of doing this. Unfortunately, you can't do it as Sandy that we know of. As a community, we tried to find a way to do it as Sandy just to make it easier for people. But unfortunately, you just kind of have to get through it and do this. So now we're just gonna climb up here. Position yourself kind of here, I guess, as a safety net. Now what you're gonna do is do a full hop and a spin. You're gonna aim for that smokestack all the way on the left of the ship. So see how there are 3 in my view now? There are 2, now there's 1. You're aiming for that 1. And you should get the spatula. Also, if you don't want to do this spatula, that's perfectly understandable. The difference in the route if you don't want to do it is when you're on the stack of ships, you don't hit the button inside of the chest. Instead, you just get the spatula on the deck and then get the spatula on top of the mast, or right by the mast, like on top of the ship. So you get those 2 spatulas, and then you warp back to Patrick. But if you don't want to do it, yeah, you just go back to downtown and do some grinding and Tiki's Go Boom to get more shiny objects to get another crab spatula, which is perfectly fine. In fact, you can do that for all the spatulas you don't want to do. If there's a spatula you don't feel comfortable with, you can just route it out and add a crab spatula if you don't want to do it. But now we're going to warp to Patrick and finish up the tutorial. Or are we? I think we actually do need an extra spatula. Because I got the spatula in the chum bucket. Okay. So this is where my routing is kind of messed up. Alright, so it seems like we do have to go back to crabs. Yeah. So let's just do more Tiki's Go Boom to get that extra crab spatula before we go into the chum bucket.
You've just met the Sponginator.
Shouldn't take long.
There's nothing like the smell of bubbles in the morning.
Oh yeah, I forgot Sandy's dream. That's right, but I don't want to do that's right, I forgot Sandy's dream. So I'll probably note that in the tutorial that I forgot Sandy's dream. But this is an example of what you can do if you want to get a crab spatula to replace anything. But I forgot Sandy's dream, so we're just gonna go back to Dream 2. You're gonna warp to Super Bounce. I'll fix this in the tutorial. I'll put a little note that you can skip to this part to explain it. Alright, so Sandy's dream. Just switch to SpongeBob and got a cruise boost here now. To get this trick, it's a lot easier on GameCube and PS2 than it is on Xbox. But all you gotta do is just like jump above the wheel, slam into it, push forward, and you should get this state where you just get stuck in a sponge glide and you fly across. Now for this trick, I actually have an individual tutorial on it, so you can take a look at my playlist. I explain it more in depth. That's basically the idea, is you just slam into the wheel and you'll get it eventually. But yeah. Okay, so we're gonna go to, so let's pretend that we did that correctly. And now we're warping out from Chum Bucket now. I mean, we're warping back from, we just got the spatula in Graveyard. Now we're gonna go to Patrick. Okay. Now we talked to Patrick, get the sock. Okay, now we're gonna warp to the Chum Bucket.
They serve food here, yes, but they don't serve love.
Okay, this is pretty easy boss fight. But don't sleep on it, because a lot of people think it's just like, it's as easy as it looks, and then they miss it. Also, when you go for this plankton hit, make sure that you detonate it when you're around him, because sometimes it clips through, and then you miss the hit. So I always just mash L, or whatever your cruise bubble button is, when you get close, when the bubble gets close to plankton. Okay, you're gonna position yourself like right here, where I'm standing. Alright, I had to explain it again, but that's the basic idea, is that you use this platform to launch you into the trigger to end the boss fight. Kind of like the Dutchman. Okay, so let's do this again. Remember. Okay, stand right here. Now time it so when you hear the first wind, you put yourself in position, and then when you hear the slam, you push right and jump. Do a full jump. So that's the wind, that's the slam. Okay. Now wait for his arms to drop to skip the cutscene, just so, like, if you don't wait and you just mash, you'll get a spatula animation in here and you'll lose some time. So don't do that. I'm just gonna, yeah. Alright, I have an individualized tutorial on that, so you can check my playlist and it'll explain it more in depth. That's the basic idea of it. But this part's really easy. Just kind of bowl this thing and stand right here so you get knocked off.
The humanity, or should I say the fishanity?
Alright, now we just finish up the run by hitting these brain vessels to conclude our SpongeBob Let's Play. So, I actually forgot Sandy's dream in that. I forgot it, and it was supposed to go in Dream 2, but I'll leave a text box for you guys to skip to it. We'll figure it out. Anyway, that's the beginner tutorial for this game. Alright, well, hopefully this helped. So, let's just give a summary. Routing differences. Instead of doing Dilemma, Skip, Oil Boost, and Patrick's Rock before Industrial Park, we do it after. And instead of doing Prawn, Kids, and the Moat Spatula after Industrial Park, we do it before. I removed Squid's Dream and I added lasers. So, there you go. That's just a summary of the route. I'll upload this to YouTube with annotation saying like, hey, I forgot Sandy's dream, just skip here to do it. Alright.
Shut up, you stupid robot. Who are you calling stupid? I went to community college, you oversized coffee grinder. Oh yeah? I'll show you. Come here and fight like a mono.
Well, Plankton, I hope you learned.
Alright, hopefully this tutorial influences people to try the game now that I removed a lot of the harder skips. You can get a pretty decent time with this route, most likely. I mean, I paused a lot and took a lot of breaks to explain things, and I still got sub 2 hours on it. So you can probably do that too on your first run if you put some practice in and learn the cruise boost. So yeah, this game's a lot of fun. There's a lot of room to improve once you start. There are a lot of skips and socks you can learn. Different spatulas you can do. It's a pretty cool game. So hopefully you guys feel encouraged to run it. Thanks for watching.